A very, very happy New Year to all the viewers tuned in right now. And a warm welcome to Breakthrough with me, Ayangla Toko Longkumer. In the past few years, due to the accessibility of social media platforms, Arunachal have seen a large amount of youngsters experimenting the medium of filmmaking. And we can clearly see a substantial growth in the number of regional films made these days. Today, we have with us someone who has clearly been called the first Arunachali to have had trained in a film school. He is the director and script writer of the first Shotopen film, Crossing Bridges, which was released in 2013. Which has won the prestigious Rajat Kamal Award. Let's welcome our writer, director, and filmmaker, Sange Dorjee Thongdok.
Hello, I'm Sange's elder brother. I'm Dr. Tsering.
So Sange is my youngest son, born in 1977 at 0. I was posted at 0. So since very childhood, he has been always, inclined towards acting.
Before even he went to school, he was very flamboyant. That's the word I'll use. Any chance he'll get, he'll just go get dressed up. Whenever strangers to come into the house, he would just simply go inside. I was like, "What are you doing?" And he would come back wearing a new dress and stand in front of the stranger.
And in school also, so he was always interested in writing some plays and acting.
He had a very vivid sense of imagination ever since I can remember. And he had a very convincing style of storytelling.
See, as usual, parents expect that they should go to government service, government job. And I persuaded him to, apply for APSC. But he was never interested. It is the first time in Arunachal Pradesh that national award by President in the film festival has been given to Arunachali, you see. And it's the honor to Sange, to me, and to Arunachal Pradesh as such.
So finally, we get to meet at Breakthrough Studio.
Great, wonderful. Thanks for having me.
Yes, when was the last time we met? I think it was in Delhi.
Years ago. I think it was a different lifetime, I think.
Oh, those were the days. It's now, I think, almost more than 2 decades.
Yeah, more than 2 decades, right?
If I'm not mistaken, I think you had red color, or was it blonde colored hair?
Oh, God. Okay, we'll start off with that.
Oh,
all
yes,
right.
Of course.
Let's just say it was one of those phases that you have when you were young and you do stupid things in life. Yeah, that was one of those phases I did.
Sange, from those days, you stood out from the crowd. And later on, after interacting with your family, I came to know that from small, you were quite flamboyant. Every time you had visitors at your place, you used to change your clothes 4 to 5 times.
All right.
So how did you manage to do that?
Okay, this is going to be an embarrassment. But yeah, I guess, I don't know, maybe unconsciously I wanted to be in front of the camera or somewhere around the camera. So I would, my father had this huge VHS camera. One of those huge VHS cassettes that used to go in.
Right.
Ancient technology.
Yes.
So, I don't know, he got it from somewhere and I used to fiddle around with it a lot. That was, I think, my first introduction to a camera or how to shoot something. So I started off with that, and then I used to fool around with the camera in front of it, behind it, put on some music and dance all on my own. I don't know why, but
Sange, I know so much about you. I'm going to pull your leg throughout the show.
Oh God, okay. You've been talking to my family. Oh, good, okay.
So anyway, apart from making a national award-winning movie, and accepting the award from none other than the President of India.
Right, yeah.
How have you been?
So far, so good. It's been a good 10, 15 years now since I released my film. So it's been there's been ups and downs. It's been a learning process for me because I went into film school, did my schooling from there, learned how to make films because I had no idea about world cinema, first of all. before going to film school. No idea. My introduction to films was, as usual, like everyone, Hindi films.
So, Sange, coming back to your award-winning movie,
Yeah.
Crossing Bridges, what was the inspiration behind the movie, especially the protagonist role, Tashi? Because your brother, one of your brother, loved to believe that the movie was made on him. So,
Oh, yeah?
oh yes, one of your brother think
Okay.
that way. So,
All right,
if you could
okay.
just clarify on that.
Well, let's just, okay, fine. It's probably a story of a generation, I guess, of a generation from the state, a generation that went out, did their learning and schooling from outside of the state, then came back and probably felt like a little like a fish out of water, you know.
So, your first movie, Crossing Bridges, is not inspired by your brother?
Well, it's a generation. My brother also was one of the few young people who went out, studied outside, came back, tried to find their own footing back home, you know. A little bit like a fish out of sea. I felt the same way.
Very relatable for all of us because we have all gone out of our state.
Right.
We have studied outside, and when
Exactly.
we came back to our village, to our town, what Tashi has gone through, we have
Exactly.
all gone through. It's such a beautiful movie.
Exactly. So it's the story of a generation that has come back, you know, like I said. And the protagonist, Tashi, he's from my own, thankfully from my
community.
own tribe, from my own community. He had a very similar story. Of course, his story was much bigger than ours. He went abroad, stayed there for a while, even worked there, I think. I had a family there, came back, and then again his struggle started of trying to find his place back home. So when I gave him the script and the story, and he immediately latched onto it. He said, like,
Yes, he has
"That's my
done an
story."
amazing
Yeah,
job.
yeah.
So Crossing Bridges is such a beautiful, amazing movie. If you haven't seen it, you should go out and watch. So coming back to Crossing Bridges, it has received very good reviews. And
Right.
apart from the stunning cinematography, the direction, use of colors, then the authenticity, one thing our people, especially your community, deeply appreciated was how you have archived the Shotokan language
Right,
through
right,
this
right. Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
So Sange, I want to ask you, was that a conscious
That was.
decision from your part to document the
Oh, yes.
Shotokan language?
Because Hindi was out of the question. I would not make us, if I make a film on our people, I would not make them speak in Hindi. That would look very terrible on screen, I'm sure. That would look terrible on screen. And also because the language that an actor speaks, when it comes out fluently, then the acting also becomes natural. Now, if an actor has to remember his lines while he's acting, he becomes stunted. So that looks terrible on camera. So the idea is always to give the actor whatever language he or she is most comfortable in, so that he or she doesn't have to think about
Struggle, yes.
this thing. So
everything.
it goes out of his mind, and he or she can just concentrate on the acting. So, and then of course I wanted to make a film on a tribe in Arunachal, let's just say, not just specifically my people, but I had decided that I had to make my first film from Arunachal, you know, so that I could show it to the people outside of my state,
Yes.
talk about it, and sort of build bridges. So that was the whole idea. So Crossing Bridges was the name that came out of that idea. So luckily, my research in the village yielded some good actors. They had done small amateur films before. So they had an idea of how to stand in front of the camera, how to deliver your lines. And I made sure that the lines that they speak were very natural, everyday languages, everyday lines that you speak normally in your day-to-day conversation. I made sure that the lines were like that, so that they didn't have any difficulty in that. That made things a lot easier for them. So I told them not to just mug up your lines,
Yes.
get the idea that this is what you have to speak, and speaking in your own manner. So the lines is actually the actors' lines. It's not the ones that I've written. The idea is there. They've taken some certain lines, but mostly the actors that have talked, the actors that are talking in the film, it's their own lines. And then I'm, of course, also trying to put each character as they were in real life. So getting a mother to play a mother's role, getting a farmer to play a farmer's role. So it's second nature
So
to them.
it just came out very naturally to each one of them.
With amateur actors, that helps a lot. You know, when you don't try to mold them in some other thing.
Character, yes.
Yeah, they are as they are, and all they have to do is be who they are in front of the camera.
Right.
So that we started off like that, and that really helped in the natural look of the whole film, actually.
I think that is one of the reasons, because while watching Crossing Bridges, you don't feel like you're watching a movie. You know, I feel that I was part of it while watching the Crossing Bridges. I feel that I was also in the village. I was sitting on a hilltop and I was just watching all the characters, you know, doing their usual normal everyday life. I think that is the beauty of the Crossing Bridges.
I'm glad it worked.
So, yes,
except for the father, who's a monk.
Yes, that I do.
He refused to do a lot of the scenes which had, let's say, a knife or things used for killing, you know, things like that. There was a scene where he talks with his son, and during the rehearsal, I gave him a fishing net, and he, you know, it's the most difficult thing for an actor in front of the camera is to how to use their hands. They get very conscious with their hands. Okay, so as a director, it's very helpful if you give them something to do. Their hands get engaged.
Yes.
The delivery comes off smoothly in their own native language, and they do what they do. So anyway, I gave him a knife. He's a monk. He's a monk. He says, on the rehearsals he does it. Okay, he does it on the rehearsals, and as soon as I say, okay, we'll go for a take, he looks at me and says, I want to do this. Why? I am a monk, I can't do this. Oh, okay, fine, give it back. So I take it back, and then I give him something else, like to weave something. And then I gave him a fishing net. That fishing net looked beautiful on the screen, and the way he was engaging with the fishing net, it was beautiful.
Yes.
And I was so happy, okay. As soon as I went for the take, it's like, I can't do this. And again, I said, oh, what for? I said, oh, sorry, it's a fishing net. So I said, not even a fishing net? No, not even a fishing net. All right, then I gave him some old crockeries to wash and clean. But he did it wonderfully. I mean, he just did it wonderfully.
I loved the part where he got addicted to the TV.
Tashi
introduced.
Yes. That idea was, the whole idea of the TV was to somehow subtly try and sort of bring in the idea how technology slowly comes in to a very peaceful nature-staying community, and how technology sort of disrupts it. Because technology is very disruptive. And
that was portrayed very beautifully, because through that TV, before they used to have tea together, he and the mother. Right. Now it was not happening. But again, I like the way that you are portrayed. The Tashi's friend, he used that to earn money. So technology can be used in different ways. You know?
I'm so glad you got that. I'm so glad you got it. You know, he very boldly says in the end, I'll start a cinema hall.
Yes.
So in that sense, technology actually helps him.
Crossing Bridges, if I may say, is like a family affair, because you brother love to think like the protagonist role was inspired by him. Then one of your brother-in-law translated the script.
He did, yes,
then again, one of your brother was the one who suggested the location for the last scene. And your father loaned you the money to make the movie.
Yes.
I hope I didn't miss out any names from the family members.
Well, I can chip in the rest that you missed. Okay. But overall, that's the gist of it, actually.
So, you know, when you won the award, it was not only your personal journey or achievement, it was like a family. And your friend, not forgetting your friend, Pooja Gupte.
Of course.
Yes, I want to thank Pooja Gupte also. Like, she is instrumental in bringing you here today. And, thank you if you're watching our show, Pooja. Thank you so much.
And Shongla, who did the editing. Wonderful. He did the editing on his in his small little rented room that he had. And he had a small computer. The whole film was edited over there. And he did it alone, without any help, you know. Like, he worked on it for 4 months, I guess, relentlessly on it, every day, day to night. And my God, he did a great job.
So, and then when you all heard about the news about you winning the award, what was the initial, you know, feeling or reaction from the family, from the friends?
I was the last to hear the news, all right, strangely, because I was in my village. So I have this bad habit of going off, all right, getting myself cut off from everywhere. And Pooja has a hard time, my DOP, my cinematographer, and one of my closest friends. I'm happily, blissfully staying in the village. So the mobile connectivity was very bad at that time. And she called up everyone, told everyone the good news. She's in Mumbai, so she heard the news first. So everyone has the news and everyone. And I'm blissfully staying in my village, writing another script, I think. And somehow she calls me, she gets me, I think it was in the morning around 9 or 10 a.m. And she just starts scolding me, where have you been? Where are you lost? Do you know what happened? And I'm thinking something terrible has happened. What has happened, you know? We won the national award and all. So I'm like, oh, okay. Because that's something you'd never expect, right? So that's how it went into this thing. So after the national award, then it went to the cinema halls. PVR took it. One of the first films from Arunachal to be screened in PVR in all the major cities. Yes. That made me feel really, really glad, because you can have a film on YouTube, you can have it online, but the impact that you have on a theater, on a cinema theater, is what, as a filmmaker, you really want. You want your film to be screened on the big screen. Yes. You want groups to come in, crowd, and you want it to be screened all over India so that everyone sees Arunachal Pradesh, you know. They see. So I've tried to put in a lot of our culture and dance into it, into this narration, as much as I could, without breaking the narration, so that people talk about it, they ask about it, which happened. After the screening, people would ask me, you know, what is this dance called? Do you have such dances? Do you believe in such spirits?
Yeah, those spirits.
Does it exist?
Yes.
It was a wonderful conversation starter. And I'm so glad PVR, I should thank PVR that they screened my film. It reached out to so many people, and I got so many mails asking about my state, about our people, which was my original intention. So that was like a huge blessing.
Along with the excitement, how overwhelming was the pressure for you to do better in your next project?
Yeah, there's always this pressure, of course. But then, you know what, the external pressure is nothing compared to the pressure that you have within you. How much you ask of yourself, right? Because in the end, you're answerable to yourself. Society has their own standards. They'll always judge you by that. But at the end of the day, when you wake up in the morning, you have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, am I doing honest work? Am I following my passion? Am I following my dreams? You know? So it's the question that you have inside that you need to answer. Right. The rest is superficial, I think.
Doesn't matter much. My team had a conversation, and your father said, you know, you're always in front of the computer typing away. So I want to know whether we'll be reading a Booker Prize winning book from you soon.
Oh my God, okay. No, again, externalities doesn't matter, but I love writing, so that's what I do. My mom hates me when I do that. She
doesn't want you to write?
My mom, your parents, they are from the older generation. Sitting in front of your laptop and writing isn't work for her.
It's not work.
So I'm writing, and it's always, every day is almost the same story. I'm writing, and she comes to the room and she's like, why do you just keep sitting around all day? Go out and work. And I can explain it to her. I'm like, I can't tell her that I'm working. Yeah, she'll be like, oh, please. And then she'll go away. So that's not work for her. It's like work for her. She's from the village. My dad is from the village. Work for her is manual work. So, but then, yeah, it's just, but then I love writing. So that's what I did, thankfully, in the lockdown. And thankfully, I have a...
yes, one of your brother also said when you were in class 6, you wrote such a beautiful story. Your English teacher liked it so much. He has kept it, hoping to publish it one day. I don't know whether you can recollect it or not, but your brother in all the remember
that's right,
you were in class 6.
Oh, right. No, I was in class 4 in Erki Mission.
Yes, in Erki Mission, yes. And you wrote a story which your English teacher liked it so much. He has kept it.
That was my first novel, I should say, yeah. That was my first novel. So
I think you should try to be in touch with him.
Yeah, I should. I hope he's doing okay, touch wood, yeah. That was a crime detective novel, I think, because I love crime and that genre, thrillers. I love reading those kinds of stories.
So you were in class 4 and you wrote a novel?
Well, in the sense that it was one of those small notebooks that you have.
Hindustan notebook.
Exactly, yeah, one of those. So I started writing it, and I guess I loved it so much. And somehow
you wrote one whole book.
Somehow, miraculously, the very end page was where the novel ended. I don't know how it happened. The last line of the last page was where it ended beautifully.
You better try to locate your teacher.
No, speaking of teachers, I should tell you, teachers, they really impact you very deeply as a person. teachers. Three things, especially your parents, of course, first, then teachers, then traveling. All right? These are, and of course, sorry, the fourth one is the company that you keep. These have the maximum impact on your life.
Sange, I think it's time for us to take a short break.
Okay.
We'll be right back. Welcome back to Breakthrough. If you have just joined in, today we have in our studio the award-winning director, Sange Dorjee Thongdok. And after 10 years, he has come down to Itanagar just to be with us in the Breakthrough. Thank you so much again, Sange.
No, I'm glad.
Yeah, Sange, I have watched all your 3 movies, The Crossing Bridges and River Song, and they're all excellent movie. But what I don't get it is like, according to your family, you are a very flamboyant person, but all your movies are just the opposite, you know, simple, rustic, dry, and melancholic.
Okay.
I mean, devoid of any, you know, ostentatious or superficiality, just the stark contrast of who you are. So why is this?
oh God, okay. So for maybe it's like, okay, human personality can be very confusing. I mean, a person could be very different from the inside, and on the outside it could be very different.
Every well-known director, they have their distinctive cinematic style. If we just look at the Sanjay Leela Bhansali movie, every frame of his movie is like an art. It's very beautiful, enhanced with, you know, great chemistry. Then you look at Karan Johar, then his films are very glamorous. Then, you know, it's like all the movie songs are hit with top stars. Talk about this Quentin Tarantino, that like he is known for his overt, you know, comedic violence or use of food as, you know, to represent power. So I want to know whether your style, your signature style, is also going to be what you have been portraying in your last 3 movies.
Maybe it is. It would, you know, it would be very unwise to start off comparing small budget cinema with big budget cinemas. You know, a budget changes the whole dynamics of a production. It just changes it completely. And also, because then you have, you put in a lot of money into your films, then you have to make sure that you make a film that would somehow get that money back from the audience, you know. So the whole dynamics changes. And
so it depends on the budget.
A budget is a huge part of it, of course. Of course, the creativity of a person also comes in, definitely. But budget it's like a huge thing. Because when you start off thinking in that manner, our thought, especially for independent cinema, I've always believed independent, small budget cinemas should always follow the films of, let's say, Italian neorealism kind of a cinema that they tried to make it more realistic, ground-based, you know, to talk about the milieu that you come from, because you're familiar with where you've come from, your background. Try to base your films over there. Talk about the people, everyday incidents and stories of the people. They are real. That makes it authentic, gives it the sincerity. It brings a sort of a beauty to your work. These days, with the advent of digital cinema, you know, it's easy to make a film, actually, but it's almost impossible to release your film, to get it out there for an audience to see. access to cinema, independent small cinema, is still very difficult, strangely. You know, when you have the internet, when everything is so connected over there, it's still somehow strangely very difficult to sustain yourself through independent cinema, making independent cinema and all. This is where I think the government should come in and try to help independent cinemas.
Since you're talking about the caravan aspect, you are aware that one film institute is coming out in Jote.
Right,
so
right.
Since you mentioned the caravan, what are the other initiatives you would want the caravan to take up to help our filmmakers?
I've always said that, you know, it would be better if the government comes in to release the film of independent cinema.
To release the movies, okay.
I mean, you can always. There was a time when NFDC used to produce independent cinema, and we had some really good cinema coming out of India during that time. You know, a lot of filmmakers like Mrinal Sen and not Ghatak, but so a lot of independent cinema during the 70s and 80s, they were sustained through independent budgets from the government, NFDC, and they produced some really good films. Take care. So that way, if you want to see good cinema, alternative cinema, other than commercial cinemas, in a way, if the government still somehow, unfortunately, the government stopped the funding. I mean, it doesn't take much to fund a film. You know, hardly 1 crore or 2 crores. That's the budget of a dance sequence in a commercial film, Hindi cinema, right? They blew up 5 crores in a dance sequence. I mean, you can support 2 crores for an independent cinema, and you would have good cinemas over there, and you would have alternative cinemas also in India. But even more important than that, I think the question of distribution comes in. I make a film, now what do I do? People have no idea. I mean, I grapple with this question a lot. So my first film, as I said, I wanted to release on YouTube because I had no idea what to do next. So this is where I think NFDC was in one time, I think, planning to make movie theaters across India, at least in the major cities, to release small budget films and all. Again, I don't know, that didn't come to fruition. But if that happens, that would be so wonderful, you know, just to have small single screen theaters in all over India where independent cinemas
can be released,
or national award-winning films. There are some great national award-winning films in the archives, NFAI archives. And you could just show those because the government has a huge stock of great movies. Basically, we need a venue. We need a platform where we can show our work. That's what you do. You create for people. You know, you just don't make a film to put it in your room and just be the only audience for it. You want people to watch it, talk about it.
In talking about people, we have a surprise for you. There are so many young people who has been inspired and motivated by your work in Payu. So we want to show it to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Tony?
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
Hello, Sange Dorjee sir. My name is Nyago. Currently, I'm pursuing my master's in cinematography from FTII Pune. So, I'm a big fan of yours. I've watched Crossing Bridges as well as River Song, and I really love them both. To be honest, Crossing Bridges was, you know, my inspiration to go into this filmmaking. After I watched that film, I researched about you and like, where did you study and how you pursued your journey towards the filmmaking. From there I got to know about SRFTI, FTII. So once I was in my college, I had made my mind that I need to go to SRFTI or FTII. Just I had to realize which direction I needed to go. I mean, which department, kind of. So I felt cinematography was my calling. So I really hope to meet you someday, and I'm really looking forward to more of your films and hopefully to even work with you someday. Thank you so much, sir. Bye.
So, Sange,
nice.
how does it, it is amazing. How does it feel when you hear young people like Nyago saying like you and your work inspires them?
As an artist, it's the ultimate reward, you know, when you, specifically talking about cinema, it has this huge strength to potentially change you as a person, right? That's why great cinemas are so important, because they uplift the human soul. They make you a better person. All right, great art has the strength to do it. Cinema especially, because in such a short span of time, 2.5 hours or 1 hour, they can potentially change you as a person for a better person. You go into a theater, sit in a dark room, see a great piece of work, come out and become a better person.
Yes.
So when you hear things like that and you see that, okay, maybe something good has happened to someone in some part of the world because of what you did, that's the greatest gift that you can get. It's like, okay, maybe there has been something better done in this world because I did something. I followed my passion, I followed my dream. So it's such a great reward, and it's wonderful hearing that, my God.
And he is just one amongst many. There are so many people who are inspired by your work and by you. So do you have any pointers that you would want to share to all the young people, especially the filmmakers, on the art of making films?
Oh, nothing really. I mean, even I am learning as I go along. It's a new field for me even, and I'm just 2-3 cinemas old. So I'm learning as I go along. But the thing is, baby steps is what I keep telling everyone, just baby steps. I mean, every day if you write a word, at the end of the year, you'll have a novel. There's a concept that I have. I call it a God gate. It's a gate by God, all right? So a lot of people follow their passion, they follow their dreams. What happens is over time, they get bored, they get tired. They say, maybe this is not interesting enough, or maybe this is not what I want to do. Let me do something else. So they drift off. The people who are tenacious, who keep doing it over and over every day, take it. And it's not that it's interesting, it's boring. Sometimes it becomes very boring. You write a book, at the middle of it, it gets so boring. I'm trying to write a book, a novel now, and sometimes I don't even want to look at my laptop. I don't even want to open it. But the important point is, you write that first word. It's to deal with your boredom. If you can deal with your boredom, you end up making great work. There is boredom. I mean, in all fields, 90% of the people, they give up. They get bored and they say, I can't do it anymore, let's give up. So the thing is to be tenacious. If you're getting bored, fight with the boredom, but just keep doing it.
I like the way you just put that.
Yeah, just fight with the boredom, just keep doing it, because everything will get bored at some point in your life. It does. Everything, not just art, but even your marriage, it gets bored at a certain point of time. The thing is
That's the fact of life.
The thing is to realize the value of it, that it is valuable, and just keep at it, small step, baby steps.
And never give up.
That's what gets you there. That's what gets you. You don't have to make huge jumps in anything in life. You don't have to run. You just have to walk. But the point is just to keep walking.
It's like, keep walking. Don't give up.
Yeah.
Even if you're bored, you're tired, you show up every day into your work.
Especially if you're bored, if you're tired, Inspiration is for the amateur people, The real people who make it in life, they make the sweat and toil. It's like the great authors, they often say, when you're writing a book, your blood comes out of your nose and ears, but you still keep working. That's tenacity. You keep doing it, right? That's the thing. And it's not to do with talent. I've seen so much great, talented people just fall off way on the side, Such people, they could have done such great things in life. The only difference with them, with the people who've actually made it, is it's not talent. It's that they were not.
They were consistent.
They were not consistent enough. They gave up. The people who are really dumb, who didn't know much, but who are consistent, they've really made it big in life. That's the only difference. That's it. It's not that the people who are out there at the top, they are very talented or they know so much more.
They have something special.
No, they don't. They're just very normal everyday life. It's just that they just keep doing it. They just keep doing it over and over and over again. So that's it. That's the golden rule of life, I think. Yeah.
Very beautifully put, Sange. Amazing. Yeah. I'm sure the people watching us tonight, they're really going to enjoy that line that you have just said.
I hope so.
That's beautiful. So, Sange, in your opinion, what is the one quality that is required to be a great director? And also, as a director, what is it that you look in a script?
I think not just a director or filmmaker, but as an artist, one great quality of every great artist is is a sensitivity. You have to be a sensitive person. There has to, the humanity. Every great artist that you've seen across the generation, they've been very sensitive people. And because of their sensitivity, they've also been outcasted, Society has outcasted them a lot, because society is a very practical place. All right, practical things happen over there. You have to be clever, move around, and so therefore, a sensitive person, as an artist, he gets lost in society. He can't deal with the everyday society. That's one thing. So, but to create great art in anything, or to create something beautiful in any field, you have to be a very sensitive person. that is vital, I think. You have to feel deeply. Yes. You have to feel deeply. It's important. And that kind of person makes great art. The everyday practical people, they'll never create great art, no. So that's what I feel.
So as a director, that sensitivity is required.
It is essential, I think it's vital, yeah.
And now as a director, what do you look for in a script?
What interests me right now is stories about our people meaning generally stories from the Northeast. It really interests me right now at this moment. I want to tell stories about the Northeast people as much as I can. And I think we have a lot of material, huge material. And then going deeper into it, I try to look for human elements in a story, in a script. Mm-hmm. What is it that makes us human, or how a human being reacts in certain situations? You put him in an extreme situation and see how he reacts. Mm-hmm. That kind of a person. So that brings out the real essence of a person,
It's time for us to take a candy break. Welcome back. Today we have in our studio Rajit Kamal Award-winning director Sange Dorjee Thongdok. So Sange, apart from the Rajit Kamal Award, what are some of the other awards and recognition that you have won so far?
I don't keep count basically. Most of my friends call up and say your film has gone to this award. This film it has won this award. I was like, okay, fine.
So you don't go out to accept all these awards?
I have, apart from the national award, I have not gone out to any other awards.
You haven't? So where are the certificates? Where are the medal mementos?
Some of them are with my friends. I think most
so
of
they go out in your place to accept?
Yeah, I call them and I say, would you just please go and accept it
next
from
time
my
you
place.
tell us.
Yeah.
We will go on your behalf.
Yeah. So, so my documentary won a few awards at the National Documentary Award. Best Cinematography Award and Best Documentary, and 2 or 3 of these awards, they are there, yeah. But I basically called up my friends and I told them to go and get it.
Any awards or recognition from our state?
From Arunachal?
Yes, from Arunachal.
I don't think so, no. No, I don't think so. I've not paid attention, I don't think so, no.
I'm surprised.
No, it doesn't matter. It's like I said, it doesn't matter. Those are very... those are very, very superficial. It'll come and go. It's society's way of recognizing you, which feels good, okay? But what you just showed me, that is really reward. You feel so good when you hear someone that you've really, that you've affected in some manner, in a positive way. As a filmmaker and as an artist, that is what you look for. That is your validation.
Sange, so finally, I just want to ask you one last question. What was your breakthrough moment in your life? If there is one moment you can say as your breakthrough moment.
There's not been one breakthrough moment as such. Every small day is a breakthrough moment for me. I try to wake up thinking this is a good day, to start something good. I believe in, like I said, I believe in baby steps. I believe in small breakthroughs. I finished a chapter of my story. It's a great breakthrough for me. I finished a chapter. I was like, okay, I've done good. Today was not a waste. I've written 2 pages. Wonderful. This is great. It's a breakthrough for me. I congratulate myself.
Amazing way to see life.
Yeah, it's a good way to say thank you to yourself.
Yes.
You should appreciate yourself.
Being grateful.
You should be grateful to yourself. We are grateful to our parents, our teachers, everyone. Sometimes you just look in the mirror and say thank you. You've done good so far. It's been difficult, but you've done so far good. So just keep going. That kind of validation, you need to keep saying it to yourself time and again. So any day that I do something good, I create something small, even if it's just 5 lines. If I'm having a terrible day, I don't want to do anything, I just write 2 lines, 3 lines, I say, good, I've done something and I've taken a baby step, good. So that is small breakthroughs. That's important. So if you just keep doing that, I think that's wonderful. Instead of big moments or big...
Right. It's the small moments.
Yeah, small moments that really matters. The small
really
ones.
matters, and that makes you.
Exactly.
Sange, thank you so much. Really want to continue with this conversation. Still lots and lots to talk and discuss, but time is one more thing that we have to look into. But before you leave, our breakthrough team, we have put together a small gift for you.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So yes, we were just mentioning to you about the artist Akom.
Right.
We have his postcard, which you're going to love it. Then we have spices from Arunachal Spices. They are based in Namsai. Then we have the E&Ks cookies in brownies, the CDCN gamak, then many other small things. Then we have got pudding tea.
Oh, not bad.
We have got lots of things here.
It's like a nice gift hamper.
Yes, this is better than the Rajat Kamal Award that you want.
Yes,
so
any day.
You better share this
yes,
with your whole family.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sange, so much.
Wow.
Thank you so much for tuning in with us. To join us again next week. And before that, I want to wish you all again a Happy New Year 2023. Bye-bye.